Welcome back to the channel, everybody. If you just joined in, either way, thanks for watching. Today's episode, we're going to be overhauling this Allis Chalmers 6080 that I recently bought. I recently broke my old phone, got a new phone, and I lost some footage that I had of doing a compression test on this engine. When we turned it over, everything sounded great. Compression test was only showing about 125 psi per cylinder. I only did 2 cylinders and quit. So this is the front wheel assist Allis Chalmers 6080 with a cab. This is the 433i 4-cylinder Allis Chalmers engine, turbocharged. This is the same engine that I have in Frankie. If you guys haven't checked that out, there's lots of video on that tractor on my channel here. Basically what this is a 301 with 2 less cylinders. Displacement, stroke, everything's the same. Everything's interplaceable on it, actually. Interchangeable all the way down to the front timing cover. I mean, it's the same engine block with 2 less cylinders, like I said. We've already got it split here. When I got the tractor, it was to that point, had all the tin off of it. It was pretty well ready to go. We just had to get the frame rails off of it and push that out of the way and pull the engine out. As you see, we've gotten the head off, got it up here, and we're getting ready to get it onto the engine stand here. And we're going to start overhauling it. The kit's supposed to be here sometime today. We'll see when that happens, if it happens. Keep your fingers crossed on that. And so far the standout's good on this. I really think that it was used for a chore tractor and just did a lot of idling. Once we get down to the bearings and the crank and everything, that'll tell the whole story. That'll kind of explain a little bit more to us. So I'm going to quit blabbing here. We're going to get this plate off of here, get her up on the stand, get it flipped over, and take that oil pan off, and I'll bring you back at that point. Okay, I lied to you a little bit. I'm sorry. Talk a little bit about these. They had a problem with the PTO, and I didn't really read into it or know what the issue was. I just knew that they had a problem for when Dad had one of these when I was a kid. Problem being, one of the issues, so when your PTO is disengaged, see how you got 6 fingers there? When your PTO is disengaged, it pushes one of these clutch plates, and so now you've got this throwout bearing inside of here constantly riding on that disengage, the second throwout bearing. So it's like your tractor's always running with the foot clutch in on that throwout bearing on them fingers. Imagine that's pretty bad on the throwout bearing, but on top of that, the problem that it caused was always pushing pressure on this crank, and then your thrust bearings would wear out. There was actually an update, and got to looking at what the update was, and there it is. That's just a I guess we'll call it a bra. I don't know what else to call it really, but that just holds your cranking spot so that it can't push out onto that thrust bearing. It's basically a big thrust bearing on the outside of the engine there. So it's pretty cool to see that was already on there, because they were around $250, and a couple of places that we've seen them were out of stock. So if they were even making that piece anymore, who knows? Probably not. So we're in luck there. So now I'm going to quit blabbing. We're going to get it on the stand, flip it over, and I'll bring you back once we get that oil pan off of there. And we're back. The engine block is outside getting cleaned. We've got most everything cleaned up here. Find one if you can see it right here. Get it to focus. This engine has got the STDs. Pretty happy about that. Took a gamble on just ordering a standard kit, and it paid off. Crank looks to be pretty good. I'm gonna polish that up. At some point, this engine was locked up, and they did something crazy to get it free, we believe, because every single cylinder has broken rings, and there's a spot in here that I might not be able to get you a light, but Each cylinder has got a spot, a ring, where you can tell it's pitted that each ring was locked into. So at some point it was stuck, and somebody made it unstuck. Guess we're lucky that things didn't get inside of there and mess things up. So far so good. I'll bring you out here to the block quick. He's got some purple power and a sprayer here. He's got all of the gaskets and everything taken off with the wire wheel. Gonna let it soak and power wash it off. I also got my overhaul kit today, which was right on time. If I wouldn't have helped my brother out with that combine yesterday, we'd have been to this point. We'd be putting that overhaul kit back in here right now, but moving on forward. Isn't that something else? Brand new clutches in this thing. The throwout bearing there. I'm very hopeful that this half of the tractor is in good shape, so we'll see what happens. You'll see what happens here in, I don't know, 5-10 minutes of footage maybe? That's cool, right? So the head over here, we'll talk about that. I got the valves out, and the seats look great, but there's a couple of valves that we can catch the ring on camera that I'm just not going to be able to lap out. So we're going to take that over to my friend Matt's in the morning. He has time to do a valve job for me. So, all right, so we're down here at Matt's Antique Tractor and Small Engines Repair. And we're getting the valves and seats all fixed up. He's already got those ground down. And he's working on putting an angle on the valve seats for me.
Well, here's Tim thinking that he's knowing what he's doing.
Well, as long as you act like you know what you're doing, you can generally trick people. And if you can trick them, you can beat them. So,
oh shit.
a lot of you guys that been watching my channel have seen this tool before, but I'll show my valve keeper tool. If I could get these keepers in here.
Sorry for the shakiness of the camera. I've had a lot of caffeine.
Yeah, he decided he needed to quit drinking coffee, so.
Yeah.
And boom. Pretty simple. I'm taking them off, you just put that on there and do the same process, and the keepers come out into that. This was like 30 bucks. Was it Lyle, I think. Yep, that's it. Moving forward. Crank's next. It's so pretty. Okay, first turn on the new crank. Beautiful. Well, on the new bearings. Never turn a crank until you get your bearings tight, because they are not round until you get them torqued down to whatever the manufacturer tells you want them torqued down to. You're not going to ruin the engine or anything, but you are just going to create some premature wear spots inside on them bearings, so any of that you can avoid.
Oh, it turns so easy. You feel that.
Beautiful, that's what you want to see. Alright. Rods and pistons are next. Those are in, head gaskets on. Head's next. But it sure is pretty. The more new parts you put in there, the prettier it looks. The final piece of the puzzle has arrived. Ben should have had bought one of these. This cam bearing installation and removal tool. with the cam bearings here as well. You can see they're not looking too good. This is the worst one somehow. This back one I may not be able to get it. Might have to flip the engine around here. Nope, I think we'll be able to show. This one here, if you see the oiling hole is facing over, well, the passage in the block is down here. And as far as we can tell, this engine was never taken apart from factory. So the wee-wees over in France put that engine together like that. That's nice, which I can't believe the cam isn't completely wore off and shot, but it is what it is. I'm going to put new bearings in it. And like I said, this is kind of where we were at, was waiting for the cam. Got the head up here, nothing's torqued down, it's just tight because we don't have the valve train on yet, obviously. So we're going to flip it around, get them new cam bearings in it, get the cam and lifters put in there. Just keep moving forward with it. Hopefully we'll have it back in the chassis here later on this evening. Alright. Okay, so that's that one where I said that they installed that in the wrong spot. There is no oil passage on this cam bearing in the block. It's a new one to me, but that is what it is, so that's how it's getting put back together. Well, we've just been moving forward. Valve train's on and racked, oil pan's on, bra is on. Everything's pretty well back together. He's working on this fuel pump over here, and brings me to another tool that I should have had a long time ago. He's bringing it over here. What did I say that cost? It was like $42 to get shipped here, and it came with two new seals, two new umbrella seals. So there it is. It's the actual Stanodyne part. Just to squeeze that in, and it's supposed to fit through this inspection hole.
Okay.
Does it fit in there? Let me see. The tool. Hell no.
Huh.
See, that's what I was worried about to begin with. Said that it would fit in that inspection hole. I figured they were full of crap.
That's a little inspection hole too.
It is. So the pump needs to be off in order to use this.
Yep. Good luck with that.
Oh, alright. Oh. Well, I guess it's a good thought. Like on the 68, or, well, 7060s don't have this style of pump in it. So I don't know, maybe on the 190s it would work, but.
Yeah. Bigger inspection hole.
Yep. Well, this is how far we got. Right there, got the flywheel on. Just set it down to torque it, and I think this is where we're going to call it a night. Other than that, pretty well ready just to go into the chassis tomorrow. So we got real close. Go over here cleaning up. What have you been doing? Here, I'll flip you around. It's been a long one. Look at my dirty hand too. So yeah, so we're at. Bring you guys back in the morning. the last time that we're going to see it out of the engine, or out of the chassis, I hope.
I like that.
Jack it up, slap it in there. This is how we usually like to pull these together. Just kind of makes things easier than trying to push it around. A couple of clamps. Just kind of be careful, make sure you get on the shafts. And something else that these are super handy. I got it in gear, or maybe I don't. Maybe I don't have it in gear. Yeah. Anyway, them are super handy for a magnitude of different things. That's actually an old vice grip one when they were. So anyway, I'm gonna move on. We got her together and bolted up. So we're back here. Everybody knew that the first time we put this engine in here was not going to be the last time, right? So we got it in, and the clutch had no throw on it. And then we found out some other stuff with the way that the spring was rigged on here. It was actually pulling the clutch pedal down instead of up like that. So rigged a trampoline spring in there. Works really well. Pulls the throw-out bearing there all the way back. One of the prongs on this was 2.5 inches out. One of them was an inch and, or two of them were 1.5 inches. And we adjusted this one back because the book you need a jig to do it, and we obviously don't have that. So anyway, we just got it in there and we took some measurements off of the marks and blah blah blah. So hopefully it's gonna throw right. We'll be able to feel it in there. And then there's adjustments on that once we get it in that's in the book to make that correct then. So yeah, we're gonna put it back in here. We're gonna keep our fingers crossed that we don't have to look at it like this again. So this is how far we made it last night. Everything is pretty much ready to go. It needs fluids in it, diesel fuel, oil, antifreeze, hydraulic fluid, all of it. Needs a battery in it yet. We just started to put the antifreeze in it last night, and that half price used radiator that I gambled on, I lost the gamble. You see it's still dripping there. Where that's dripping is right at the bottom mount on the other side where it mounts. The bolt is just soldered to the bottom of that and looks like it's leaking out of there. Like I said, this is half price of a new one, and I'll be able to get it fixed for significantly less than what it would have cost me to buy a $1,000 radiator. Let's put it that way. So I gambled on it, and it didn't waste me any more money, but it just wasted me some time. Either way though, we're going to fill this with water today and make it run. Be good to flush everything out of there. Should be pretty clean right now really, but won't hurt to do another little flush. The thermostat to put in yet, that's because when we fill it we like to have that air so that you don't get bubbles in the block, blah blah blah, common sense stuff. Anyhow, we're pretty much right there. We're gonna fill it with fluid, we're gonna fill that radiator with water, we're gonna back it out of here, we're just gonna let it leak, and we're gonna get this turd running. Alright, bring it down here to this. Got a operator's manual downloaded off of Gen Sales. We're talking about this screen in here and how you should clean it. Isn't that interesting how you get that into your hydraulic reservoir? Like, how careless are you really being to get that much in there? So anyhow, glad I opened it up, found it. That looks like metal, but it's grass. So I'm gonna clean that up, put it back in here, and then beautiful thing, 12 quarts of hydraulic fluid go in that hole right there. It's just wonderful. So, get her filled up here and get it pushed out, fire it up. Okay, so you guys heard the problems that we were having there. I don't even know why we tried this, but that's the starter that was in it. Whatever. Anyhow, that's the one out of Frankie. So I'm going to get the Bendix replaced on this one and probably just put it in Frankie and keep this one on here. That's actually a high torque starter, so anyhow, we're gonna see if we can get it to start now. So, let me rephrase that. We're gonna start this thing now. lights work. Air filter is on because it's not hooked up, obviously. Unlike most of Allis's tractors, this is a shift on the go. I think that's first gear. But hey, you can shift it on the go. I'm pretty sure you need to use the foot clutch. I have to read into that a little bit more. But there you can downshift it. If you can put it in right here. A little bit of noise here forward. I hope it's just rust built up. We will see, won't we? that? Well, there it is. We made it run. Runs, drives, does everything that it should so far. Obviously, I can't put it to work until we get that problem addressed. Like the tin work, I just kind of slapped that on there for effect of, now I'm going to put the tin on it, or well, the fiberglass on it, and get a picture for the video that you guys seen. So that about does that. A couple of things I noticed that I am missing. The air conditioning compressor is locked up. Something missing right there. Actually, two things missing. There's a canister that goes here, and then the condenser. So yeah, we'll have to hunt that stuff down. Then when we were loading it, of course, this hose fell down and pinched that off. It actually got caught underneath the tire. Lucky we didn't rip it off of there all the way, so I'll need to find parts for that. It is what it is. Need an interior kit in the cab. I have some upholstery to fix the seat and some cushions, so I'm just going to fix the seat. Everything on it works, and bolt everything back together. And this one doesn't have a foot feed, so I'm gonna try to find a foot feed for it as well. That's important with these when you're in high gear. Anyways, what else? Oh, need a back window. But I'm happy with what I've got into it. It's a fresh overhaul, so I know that that's good. Mix match tires. I should be able to find another one of these. Firestone 18434. Should be able to find another one of them. I actually have another one. It's just not quite. It's about bald. And at that point, you might as well just leave this one on here. Call it a day. And then on the front, they don't match either. And that one's about bald. So, whatever. It'll serve its purpose well. All in all, I'm happy. Still need to get the front wheel assist hooked up. I didn't even check to see if that worked at all. Really shouldn't be any reason why it doesn't. And I guess this is where we'll end this video. Next time you see this tractor, it'll be doing something in the field. Hopefully I have it ready for using on the grain drill this year. Planting in the cover crop plow down, so that'd be nice. If not, I have other tractors that have cabs and will do the job just fine. So I guess we'll go ahead and say, thank everybody for watching. If you like this episode, give it a thumbs up. Like to see more stuff like this, subscribe. And I hope to catch you guys on the next one. Thank you again for watching.